Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. LoFi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I'm Steve RIsser, along here with Justin D'Onofrio. And the All-Star Week has come and gone in Major League Baseball, and it was interesting. I mean, I thought the Home Run Derby was pretty good. Teoscar Hernandez won it. Bobby Witt came this close to winning it. So I thought the Home Run Derby was pretty entertaining. And the All-Star game was pretty good. You had Ohtani's home run. You had Jarren Duran hitting that big home run in the fifth inning, and then the American League winning the All-Star game 5-3. So All-Star weekend, kind of was what it was expected to be. Justin, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, the new home run derby format is interesting. I didn't realize that it was the 8 guys go and then it was a bracket system. But I know they're trying to get more high profile names into the derby. But that did go down the wire. There were Teoscar Hernandez, Bobby Witt, and then the All-Star game. It was good to see Paul Skeens kind of get to start there with all the hype that he's gotten for his fantastic start to his major league career. And Ohtani hits the bomb, Jalen Duran hits the bomb. It was a good game. It's not a high bar for major league to hit, but it is the best 4 All-Star games.
Oh yeah, exactly. But it's not a high bar. Look at the Pro Bowl, look at the NBA All-Star game, look at the NHL All-Star game. It's not a high bar at all. But it is the best one because it's played like an actual game.
Which is So it was, and definitely a little bit of the shine's been taken off the last couple of years with now that you play everybody every year now. But still, good to see Skeens versus Judge there, but very anticlimactic that Skeens got to pop up in the first pitch. But
here's the thing about Skeens Judge. I was really looking forward to it. So when the American League was up, you saw Kwan get out, you saw Henderson get out. So I was like, Soto, please get on, because I want to see this Skeens Judge matchup. Yeah. So Soto walks. And then the matchup happens, and it's so anticlimactic because, he grounds into a fielder's choice. It was one pitch. The Skeens-Judge matchup we were all talking about. We were all talking about that matchup. But sticking with Paul Skeens, and he's had a great first half, 6-0 with an ERA under 2. He's been phenomenal, 11 starts. Paul Skeens has pretty much been the biggest scorer in baseball in the first half of this baseball season. The big question is, we know he's going to win Rookie of the Year. He's obviously going to win Rookie of the Year in the National League. The big question is though, should he win Rookie of the Year and NL Cy Young? And I'm going to say yes. I'm going to agree. Because I don't think in the last 11 games, no one has pitched as well as Paul Skeens. No one has pitched as well as Paul Skeens. I know Lopez for the Braves has pitched really well too. But I think he should. I think Paul Skeens should win NL Rookie of the Year and NL Cy Young.
Yeah, I think definitely he should win the National League Rookie of the Year. National League Cy Young, I think he's got a great shot to win it. I'm a little worried if the Pirates shut him down at some point or limit his innings, because that team's going to do the bare minimum at the trade deadline. So I know they're right there in the wild card hunt, like pretty much every National League team is right now. But he's been awesome to watch so far. He definitely deserves to be Rookie of the Year. I know Jackson Merrill's in the All-Star game. He's had a nice year with the Padres, but the way Skeens has come on and looked, he's been unhittable, or he's been untouchable, and he's got no fear going up against. And you saw last night with Soto. I know he walked Soto, but getting Judge there on the first pitch, like he hasn't, he's not feared any hitter so far in the major league. So it's crazy. This kid was in college baseball, so still playing college baseball 13 months ago, and periods was one of the best pitchers in all baseball.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah, he played college. Yeah, he won a national championship for LSU a couple months ago. About a year ago, and now he's probably the best pitcher. It's right now probably the best pitcher in baseball. It's amazing, and I think he should. He's definitely my rookie of the year, but he's my Cy Young Award winner as well.
Right now, I would have him second as my Cy Young winner.
Who are you taking? Who are you taking as the Cy Young Award winner?
We're going over in a little bit.
Yeah, but
you
I got
say
second
right now.
Who do you got right now?
I have Sale right now. Sale.
Come on. And I know Sale's had a really good year, but come on now. Come on. Chris, come on.
Yeah,
Paul Skeens is – I know – listen, if Sale has not pitched as well as they have, the Braves wouldn't be in the position they're in. But Paul Skeens has been dominant.
No, I know he has. It's just he's got to – for me, because the innings, why he's, Sale's at 110 right now. Like, again, at the end of the year, if Skeens keeps pitching the way he's pitching, I'm definitely going to take Paul Skeens. I just, because and again, it wasn't his fault. He's still in the minor leagues, but he came up in about a month after. So that's why I have Sale, because he's been doing it since April. But I have Paul Skeens at number 2, and if he does this and continues to pitch this way to the end of the year, then Paul Skeens will be my National League. I'd take him to win National Cy Young. It's just because he missed a couple starts, and Sale's been there since April, which is nothing against Paul Skeens. That's not on him.
No, it's not. Yeah, that he was in the minors to start the year, definitely. But I just think with how dominant he's been, that he is the Cy Young. But we'll see. It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens. So now that we've got NL Cy Young, NL Rookie of the Year, and NL Cy Young out of the way, let's get to NL MVP. And I think for NL MVP, it's close between Ozuna and Shohei. I'm gonna go Ozuna. He's first in second in home runs and first in RBIs. He's had a great year. And let me tell you something. Where would this Braves team be without him? Because Olson's had a down year. Riley's had a down year. Albies has had a down year. Acuna's been out for the year. Where would this Braves team be without Marcell Ozuna? That's why I got him as my NL MVP. Close between him and Shohei.
Yeah, I went the other way and I took Shohei. He moved up to the top of the lineup now. Mookie's out, so he's been taking over. And that Dodger lineup too, they have not hit the ball well. Kind of, Teoscar Hernandez has been a really nice pickup for him. Max Muncy's been out, but like that bottom of the lineup for the Dodgers is really struggling. And I know the Dodgers now, entered the break on like losing 5 out of 6. They're not playing great baseball, but Ohtani's batting .316, which would be his career high if the season were to end today. So he's just been, as dominant as a hitter as he was in LA or with the Angels. So for me, it was close, but I did take Shohei because, it's a thing too, where if they didn't have him at the top of this lineup right now, where would Dodgers probably still be in first place because of that division, but he's been huge to kind of, help out that lineup that has kind of underperformed as like Ozuna and the Braves this year.
Yeah, a big reason why the Dodgers lineup has underperformed though is the injuries. The injuries to Betts, the injuries to Muncy. That's a big reason why it's underperformed. But yeah, Shohei, he's been worth every penny. The Dodgers made a great move signing him because he's been worth every penny that he's been worth everything that the Dodgers. He's been everything the Dodgers want him to be. I mean, he's just been outstanding for them. So yeah, I could see it being very close between Marcell Ozuna and Shohei Ohtani. But now moving over to the American League Awards, and we'll start with Cy Young. And I think this one's actually a pretty easy one. I'm going to go with Tariq Skubal from the Tigers. I think he's been phenomenal this year. He's been outstanding. He's had a great year. And again, the Tigers would probably be a pretty bad team if it wasn't for him.
Yeah. Him, Jack Flaherty hasn't been bad. Has been decent as well. But I got Skubal as well. Before the All-Star break, his last 4 appearances has been really good. He's got an ERA under 3. He's only got 21 walks and so far in the year. And then opponents are only batting 190 against him. So his stuff's been really, really good this year. He's been healthy, which has been big. And I heard his name rumored with the Dodgers. So so that'd be a very nice pickup for LA. We talk about the injuries. They got a ton of pitching injuries. So I think Skubal's been really good. And the Tigers right now, under 3 games under 500. But he's been really good at that top of the rotation for him this year.
He definitely has. He definitely has been good for the Tigers at the top of the rotation. So now going to AL Rookie of the Year, and for me, there wasn't really been an AL rookie that's really stood out. We all thought it was probably going to be Jackson Holiday, but he lasted a very very short time
Mhm.
in the majors. He got called down very quickly. But I'm gonna go with Wyatt Langford. I'm going with Wyatt Langford from the Rangers. I know he hasn't been great, but he's been decent. He had that cycle against the Orioles. So against Baltimore. So I'm gonna go with Wyatt Langford here. I'm going to Wyatt Langford for AL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I got Wyatt Langford as well here. That was the guy before the year because he had a really nice spring training. I know it took him a little bit to get going here, but he's been a really nice piece. He's got a couple stolen bases on the year as well. And yeah, there really hasn't been a guy that stood out. I guess Rafael with the Red Sox would be a one. William Brady with the Red Sox, who's missed some time. If Luis Hill didn't have that bad month there, I would have definitely chose him. But I think Wyatt Langford, he's starting. I know he's in a little bit of a slump entering the All Star break, but when he gets out of it, Rangers, I know, trying to turn some things around right now, and I definitely think he'd be a force in that middle lineup and for Texas. But I've been, I think he was the first rookie ever to have a cycle, so which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely will. Yeah, definitely was. He got that cycle against the Orioles in June. So yeah, very very impressive for for Wyatt Langford there. Very very impressive. So this one should be pretty obvious. AL MVP. And this is an obvious one. It's Aaron Judge. 34 home runs, 84 RBIs. I know the Yankees have struggled of late, but Aaron Judge has had another phenomenal season. This is close to his. I mean, this is getting close to a season he had 2 years ago. He's been absolutely phenomenal for the Yankees. So I am going to go with. I'm going to go with Aaron. I'm definitely going to go with Aaron Judge. I think it's pretty obvious. Aaron Judge is the AL MVP.
Yeah, it's quite obvious right now. Aaron Judge's got to be the MVP. His numbers are very similar to 2 years ago. Probably very soon too could be on Triple Crown watch as well. So he's just been an absolute impressive. He's been so impressive, and him and Soto in the top of the lineup. Hopefully, they get some more help behind them. But yeah, those two could. But Judge has been unbelievable. I know, kind of went a week or two without a home run, but got one this weekend or last week against Baltimore, which is nice. But yeah, Aaron Judge right now he's been an absolute force, and for how bad of an April he had to be sitting with the numbers he has right now is just shows you how hot he's been.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. He's just been absolutely phenomenal for the Yankees. Yeah, the Yankee team has struggled of late, but Aaron Judge has been absolutely phenomenal. Now, before we get into our World Series prediction, we're going to talk about a couple teams in baseball. We're going to give you our most surprising and most disappointing teams in the first half of the season. And I'm going to start. I'm going to start with my most surprising team, and that's the Royals. They're 2 games out. I know they lost the series to Boston this week, but they're 2 games out of the wild card. And I think Seth Lugo, I know he didn't pitch well on Saturday against the Red Sox, but that's been the biggest surprise. Seth Lugo has been outstanding this year. He's like 10-2 with an ERA under 3. He's been the biggest surprise, maybe the biggest surprise in baseball this year. Seth Lugo's pitched pretty well. Bobby Witt, you saw it in the home run derby. He's proving the Royals they were absolutely right giving him that contract. So Bobby Witt Jr. has been really, really good. You have Pasquantino. He's hit the ball well, and you got Reagans and Singler who pitched well. For me, the Royals are my most surprising team. My most surprising team.
I went with the team in the same division as them. I went to the Guardians. I thought, the roster is so good. I thought maybe would be a wild card team this year, but to be 21 games over 500, is quite impressive. And for a starting rotation too, that they lost Shane Bieber. Their rotation has been great, but it's been the back end. You saw Manly Clase last night pitch or close that game out last night. He looked very good. Jose Ramirez having a really nice year. Steven Kwan's a really good hitter. Stephen Vogt's done a really good job as a manager, and I felt like letting Tito for Terry Francona go, maybe take a little step back for Cleveland, but he's been really good for that clubhouse, and I'm very surprised to see Cleveland what they're doing right now, being 21 games over 500 at this point.
Yeah, Stephen Vogt has done a great job with that team. Sorry about that. Guardians best record in the American League going into the second half. Now, my most disappointing team, I am going to go with the Toronto Blue Jays. I know the Blue Jays weren't expected to be great, but I thought they'd be in a wild card race, and they're 9.5 games out of the last wild card spot. 44-52. The only teams that are better than in the American League are the Angels, the A's, and the White Sox. Fourth worst record in the American League for a team this talented with this much. For a team this talented, that is inexcusable. And it's really, and I think a big reason is because their offense. Really, outside of Vlad Guerrero is the only guy who has over 40 RBIs on that team. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is the only guy who has over 40 RBIs. Justin Turner has proven that he's getting old. George Springer's proven he's getting old. I know Bichette has missed time, but he has not been good at all this year. Their bullpen is absolutely terrible. For me, my most disappointing team is the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's Blue Jays team with the core of, Bichette, Guerrero. I know Biggio now is in the Dodgers. Like those three coming up, you really kind of thought
I
be the next core.
I remember the hype because I remember, like the 2018 season when they were they were all in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And I actually went to a game where they played the Yard Goats, and Vlad Guerrero actually had a home run. So that was all the hype because that was kind of when that year. Remember those Blue Jay teams that made it to like the ALCS with Josh Donaldson and Jose Bautista and Edwin Encarnacion? Those teams, those guys were getting traded. Those guys were getting old, and the Blue Jays were rebuilding. And everybody was saying, "Oh, watch out for the Blue Jays! Watch out for the Blue Jays!" But it just seems like this team now is kind of falling apart. They made the playoffs 2 years in a row, couldn't get out of the first round. So this team is kind of falling apart right now.
Yeah, it is. It's disappointing. I wanted to see that core do well and kind of make Toronto contenders, and it hasn't happened. Their team ERA is 4.45. That's not great. Yeah, you mentioned the lineup hasn't been great. Bobichet's really having a down year. I know Springer's starting to hit a little bit better, but yeah, like he's had a rough year as well. He's getting up there in age. Kevin Kiermaier's, your starting center fielder. He's a great defender, but he can't hit. They just got so many guys down the lineup that are hitting the 200s or below. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. I'm shocked they haven't fired that manager yet, and they haven't give Don Mattingly as a bench coach to be the interim.
Yeah, give Donnie baseball a shot. I mean, I thought he was better than people thought with the Dodgers. I mean, they got to the playoffs almost every year when he was the manager. Then we really didn't have a chance with the Marlins. Let's be honest. He didn't have a chance there. They traded Stanton. They traded away Yelich. He didn't have a chance with the Marlins. And then he comes to Toronto. Give him a shot. Give Donnie baseball a shot because that guy deserves to try to compete because he's been so close to a World Series. He hadn't been able to be in one. Give Donnie baseball a shot.
No, he absolutely does. At this point, what do you got to lose? Because maybe a veteran guy like that can maybe help some of these guys get going, or turn the ship around. Because it's been bad, and to be 9.5 games out of a wild card. I did not think the Blue Jays were going to be that far back. I thought they'd be battling for wild card, maybe sneak in, but yeah, for them to be 9.5 back, and it is pretty surprising for them. So just been as a whole the last couple of years, Toronto team just haven't lived up to the hype that they once got.
Yeah, they definitely have not. They absolutely have not. Now we will get to our World Series prediction. And for me, I know this team has struggled. They've lost 7 of 10, but I think Muncy's going to be back. Betts is going to be back eventually. They got good pitching with Stone, with Yamamoto and Glass now. Good bullpen, a team that has done it before too. They won it in 2020. I'm going to go with the Dodgers in the National League. I'm still going to go with the Dodgers to represent the NL. I like the Phillies a lot, but I don't trust them late in the postseason. 2 years ago, they get to the World Series, they lose. Last year, inexcusably, they lose 2 games at home to the Diamondbacks. They really dropped the ball there to win a world championship. So I think the Phillies get to the NLCS, but I think they lose to the Dodgers. So the Dodgers are my team in the National League, and then the American League. It's not going to be the 2 teams that played this weekend. It's not going to be the Yankees or the Orioles. It's not going to be either of those 2 teams. I think a big reason why is because you saw the end of that game on Sunday. The Orioles couldn't close out the game, and the Yankees couldn't close out the game. So my team to go to the World Series in the American League, I know they have issues within their rotation. Depth in the rotation is an issue, but I like the Guardians. I like the Cleveland Guardians. I like the Guardians because I think they got the best closer in baseball in Class A. They got a really good bullpen behind them. And they got a very good lineup. Jose Ramirez is one of the most underrated players in the game. Jose Ramirez is one of the top 10 player in the game. If it wasn't for Aaron Judge, he's probably the MVP in the American League. Or it wasn't for Judge or Soto, he'd be the MVP in the American League. So, and then they got Josh Naylor, another really good player. You got David Fry, got a big hit last night, and he's had a really since he's started, he's been really good. So you got Jimenez, Stephen Kwan, one of the best leadoff hitters in the game. That's a separator between them and the Yankees. They got a good leadoff hitter. The Yankees don't. They got a good closer. They got a good closer. The Yankees have a closer that's very up and down, as we know. So my prediction is the Dodgers and the Guardians, and I got the Dodgers beating the Guardians in the World Series.
Yeah, when you started talking about the American League team, Cleveland was not the team I thought. I thought you were going with your Astros. There. I thought that's where you're going.
Not this year. They're not this year. I don't think that. I know they've been hot, but I without Dusty, I don't. I think there's a chance they can make the playoffs, but without Dusty, I don't trust them in the postseason.
Yeah, we've seen it before with them. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to get there to the World Series, but yeah, they've been on fire lately, and they might win that division. But for me, I get the Phillies winning the World Series. I think it's their year. The way they lost last year was to Arizona was an absolute shock to the way they lost. But that rotation's been good. I know Wheeler's going to be back next week. Ranger Suarez is going to be back soon. I've seen that maybe they're going to be in the sweepstakes there for Luis Robert at center field. I saw too, like Tommy Pham of the White Sox as well. So there's, to upgrade your outfield, maybe I think they need one more arm in that bullpen. But, with that lineup, with the way the rotation's been pitching, I think the Phillies, get some vengeance off of what happened last year. And I think they go up against the American League. This was very, very, it was a difficult one to choose. But I am going to go with Baltimore because I think they make the necessary pieces that they have to do at the trade deadline. I think they go get a Crochet. I think they go land Tanner Scott out of Miami. And I think they better their bullpen because they have the pieces of the minor leagues to go do that. So I got the Phillies beating the Baltimore Orioles.
Here's what I don't like about Baltimore. I don't trust Craig Kimbrell at the end, as you saw on Sunday. I think he's very up and down. I think the rotation, really outside of Corbin Burns, I know Suarez has pitched pretty well, but I don't trust anyone else in that rotation outside of Corbin Burns. I like the line. I really like the lineup. Even though the lineup has struggled recently, I really like the lineup of Gunnar and Adley Rutschman and Santander. I like the lineup, and I got them going to the ALCS. I got them going to the ALCS and playing the Guardians, but I just don't trust the end of the game. Because this happened twice against the Yankees, but they got bailed out because they got bailed out in that one game. That the Yankees end up losing, the Orioles end up winning in extra innings, and they got bailed out on Sunday because the Yankees couldn't make a play, and then Clay Holmes couldn't do it. And we've seen Clay Holmes recently; he's just been very, very not very undependable at the end of the game. So, I think I was close. Those two teams that you have, the Phillies and the Orioles, you kind of have the I-95 World Series between those two teams. Rematch 83, by the way. It's almost 41 years ago. Rematch the 83 World Series with the Orioles. That was actually the last Oriole World Championship that they won. Cal Ripken's rookie year, they beat the Phillies in 5. But I could see both those teams get the ALCS. My problem with the Orioles is depth in the rotation. Don't trust Kimbrell at the end. And for the Phillies, I think they're a complete team, but they've struggled late in the postseason. And honest, you got Dave Roberts against Robbie Thompson in a big series. I'm taking Dave Roberts any day of the week.
All right, I like Dave Roberts. I don't think he's like this. Like besides the COVID World Series, what is it?
Come on, he's been in 3 World Series.
He has. Rob Thompson got him there 2 years ago as an interim.
All right, and then last year, I know. He's a former Yankee coach, Robbie Thompson.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and he'll hold his guys accountable too, which. We all want from the Yankees,
Exactly. We'll get to that. We'll get to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's something, it's why they take Cleveland too. The AL Central teams, I just don't trust in the playoffs. Like I know the Guardians got there in 17. They lost game 7 to the club.
They were in game 5 with the Yankees in the Bronx.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah. Without Harrison Bader, the Cleveland definitely wins that game. Bader was the absolute hero in that series. So I gotta see it. I need Cleveland to get another rotation or another starter in that rotation. But yeah, I just with the Dodgers, I don't know. The same thing every year with them. They just besides the COVID year of late, they have not gotten out of that NLDS, and I got to see them do it again. I know they're bad. I know they'll probably get healthy, but I'll take a Philly team that the last couple of years have at least won a series or 2 in the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see. It should be very interesting to see what happens. But before we wrap up, we got to talk about the Yankees and Red Sox. And the Yankees right now, let's just say everybody is very down right now. But I think this is kind of what honestly, this is kind of the season we expected from the Yankees. Need to be right there with the Orioles in second place. They got off to that red hot start. The last month they have not played well at all. But this is pretty much where I think we expected the Yankees to be. Now, I think the biggest improvements are they need a consistent leadoff hitter. I really like Renfroe, the third baseman from the Angels. LeMahieu can go to the bench. LeMahieu doesn't have to play. He can start at third base. He can lead off. So I would like that move. And also Tanner Scott from the Marlins. I just don't trust Clay Holmes late. I know we got unlucky on Sunday with errors and Verdugo misplaying that ball, but I don't trust Clay Holmes late in games. It happened against the Red Sox, a week ago. It happened against the Royals almost a month ago. So I just don't trust Clay Holmes. So I would like Tanner Scott might end up being the closer by the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott would be a really nice piece for the Yankees. Yeah. Sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Oh, did you got me now?
Yeah, I got you back. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so what would you like the Yankees to do at the trade deadline? And what's your opinion? What do you think about their first half?
Yeah, for the first half, you're 18 games over 500, which I think is right where you'd be fine back in March. I think, we'd rather have seen a couple of those losses in the last month go to April to make it balance it out a bit because of the last month and how bad it's been. And I think the sour taste of you should have got a sweep against Baltimore and you're sitting in first place going to break and you're feeling better. But the way, they lost was, it leaves a really sour taste in your mouth because it's just some of the stuff that we've been talking about with the Yankees for years about the fundamentals, the defense, just, if they don't.
Oh, and that showed up on Sunday. That showed up completely on Sunday.
Yeah. And, I think the Yankees need a couple of bats and, you look at teams
but here's the thing. I'd say just one. I think get one leadoff hitter, one bat. That's fine for me. What were you going to say?
But I'm going to say, look at some of the teams that lead right now. And look at Baltimore. They have guys that get on base and steal. Look at Cleveland. They do the same thing. They can get on. They can steal bases. The Red Sox, look at that. They're 11 over 500. Nobody saw that coming. They could steal. Milwaukee, nobody saw them in first place coming this year. They get on base and steal. The Yankees are not athletic. They're not built for 2024, and they need to get built. They need some more speed. You went 21 games without a stolen base. I would really like a couple of guys who can get on base, who can steal. I know that's not the Yankees' philosophy right now, but that's kind of how you win baseball games, it feels like right now. With the bigger bases, with all that, you can only throw over 2 times, but yeah, I wouldn't mind a Luis Rengifo. I know he's not a big stolen base threat, but he's a guy that could get on base. Tanner Scott would be a nice piece as well. I would like Garrett Crochet. I don't think the Yankees are going to give up what they would have to get a Garrett Crochet. In that, but so yeah, I think they need a couple of bats, but maybe another right-hander. They definitely need a third baseman and Rengifo. I wouldn't mind that one because I like the Rockies Ryan McMahon, but I don't think they're going to trade him because they did sign him a year or two back, so he's under contract. So I don't think the Rockies would trade him right now unless they get something really great. But so yeah, I think they definitely need some guys in the bullpen, like a Tanner Scott who, because Clay Holmes, look, he's been up and down, but he's not a strikeout. You need guys at the back end that could get strikeouts, and he's not a big strikeout guy. So that's kind of what, that kind of the problem with him too. So, yeah, I think the Yankees do need a couple, but right now, definitely Tanner Scott, Luis Rengifo would be 2 nice additions there.
They definitely will be. They definitely will be. And the Yankees, it's pretty favorable to that Red Sox series. I think they got 4 with the Rays, which you have to win. You got to win 3 out of 4 there, and you got a couple with the Mets at home. And I know the Mets are playing better, but you can't be getting swept to the Mets. They got to win at least one of those games against the Mets. I think there's a good chance the Yankees win 4 of their next 6 and get to Fenway. Because the Red Sox, they play the Dodgers, so they're probably going to lose 2 out of 3 there. So I think the Yankees will head to Fenway. I think at least with the 4-game lead on the Red Sox, and then this would be a big chance. Be a big chance next week to put the Red Sox away. But speaking of the Red Sox, they right now they've been one of the most surprised teams in baseball. 53-42. You didn't have a ton expected of them because of their lack of activity in the offseason, but the thing about them is they've had guys you didn't expect to step up. Rafaela, he's definitely stepped up. Connor Wong, he's played well. And then pitching. The two guys that have really made this happen. Tanner Houck, he was an all-star, and then Cutter Crawford has pitched really, really well. For me at the trade deadline, I think it's imperative the Red Sox get a right-handed bat. I think they got to get a right-handed bat, because if they get in late in the season against good teams or into the playoffs, and they have to face a lefty, they could be in big, big, big trouble. And then they got to get another starter. They got to get another starter behind Houck and Crawford. And I've been saying this for the last month. They have to do something at this trade deadline. They can't do nothing like they have the last 2 years. There's a reason Craig Breslow was there. If you're John Henry, you got to let Craig Breslow add at the trade deadline, not do nothing like the last 2 years. So there's a reason. But I do think they will do something, because I think there was a reason they got rid of Chaim. I don't think Chaim wanted to trade prospects. I think Breslow will trade prospects. So I think the Red Sox will do something at the trade deadline. But even if you think they should or not, in my opinion, they definitely have to.
Yeah, they definitely should be buyers. You're in the third wildcard spot. Nothing was expected of you. Like, you don't have anything to lose. You don't have to give up like your Kyle Teals or Marcelo Myers, who are your two top prospects. You don't have to give up those guys. But yeah, you got to go out and prove. They definitely need another right-handed bat. Like, most days you got 6 left-handers up there. So, it's been nice too. Like Dominic Smith stepped up. I know they're hoping to get Costas back, maybe right around the Yankee series is when they're targeting it for him to come back. So that'd be a nice piece for him to get back soon. But yeah, the bullpen's been better than expected this year. They're athletic. They got Alex Cora, and yeah, you mentioned it. A lot of guys, Willie Abreu, Duran's really gotten better this year. Like last year, he's very up and down at times, but like this year, he's really established himself as one of their best.
Oh, I forgot to mention Duran. You saw last night. Duran hit that big home run in the All-Star game.
Yeah, he did. And Devers too has been on fire of late. He's really starting to get going in like the last 3 weeks to a month. He's been on a tear at the plate. So yeah, this Boston team's going to be right there. This is probably going to be Cora's last go around in Boston, it feels like, because it sounds like he wants Craig Counsell money.
Yeah, but I think then the Red Sox give him Craig Counsell money. That's what they should do. If they don't, but that's the problem. That's the problem. These next couple months are so crucial for the Red Sox. If they're going to add the trade deadline, and go for this, and if they're going to bring back Alex Cora. So this is a crucial last couple months for the Red Sox. Next couple months for the Red Sox.
It definitely seems like John Henry and company do not want to pay a manager like $9-10 million. So that's probably, and I don't think Cora, maybe Cora takes a hometown discount, but it doesn't seem that likely. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, for Boston, it's been good. But yeah, add another, because they need that 5th starter. They've been run out Cooper Criswell, but yeah, I think for Boston right now, add another righty bat, add one more starter to that rotation, and you're definitely good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have another receiver who has requested a trade. But before we talk about that, we are going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial and Shamrock Home Inspections.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEG's Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEG's Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEG's Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut. There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk with R and J here. Steve, I think dealing a little. Oh, you back? You're muted. Your mic's muted. You're still muted. It's the mic's still muted.
Okay. Am I good now?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, you.
Sounds good. Yeah. A little bit of technical difficulties there, but yes, the year-long saga for Brandon Aiyuk, that is over for the 49ers as he has the year-long saga for Brandon Aiyuk with them and the Niners. It's been kind of crazy. You know, he's been unhappy with the team. He's been unhappy with he wants a new contract, but then yesterday he requested a trade and for me, I saw Adam Schefter's tweet. I think the Niners are going to work this out. I do think the 49ers are going to work this out. I think they're going to get this done. 49ers are one of these organizations where they do get something like this done. If somebody like this happened with Deebo Samuel, they worked it out with him. I just feel like this organization is going to work it out with Aiyuk, and I think he's going to wind up being a 49er. I think he will wind up being a 49er. I think they're going to pay him the $30 million that he wants. They're going to pay Brock Purdy too. So a lot of new contracts are going to be coming up. They're going to be coming up for the Niners, but I don't think he gets traded. I think the 49ers work this out with him.
I think he ends up getting traded because you mentioned Purdy. They've already signed Deebo Samuel. You know, they got McCaffrey too. Like, I think there's just going to be so many, big contracts that you're going to have to pay out that you're not going to be able to keep everybody happy. And so I think he could be one of the guys that might be on the move here. And then defense side, you got Nick Bosa. You're going to have to pay as well there. So there's just a lot of guys. I think and I think their window is going to be closing in the next couple of years, maybe. That I think you could be on the move. I wouldn't be stunned if they somehow keep him and give him close to what he wants, but I think it's more likely that he ends up playing for another franchise.
Really, I think they work it out. Because this is what happened with Deebo. This happened with Deebo, and they worked it out with him. So I think they work it out. I think they do. 2 years ago, this is really similar to what happened to Deebo. I just think they work it out. I just think he's too good of a player. I know the Niners have a lot of weapons. The Deebo, him, Kittle, they have a lot of weapons on their offense. But I just think John Lynch is one of these guys. This happened with Deebo 2 years ago. They worked it out with him. I think they work it out with Aiyuk.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they do. How many, you can't pay all these guys, do you know off the top of your head what Samuel's getting? Is it like 25?
I think around like 20, 25. I think annually, around like 25 million around there. Yeah.
So you're going to give 55 to two wide receivers and then 30, Purdy's going to want what?
Oh, he's going, no. Purdy's going to want over almost 60. Honestly. If they go out and win a Super Bowl this year, Purdy's could be getting 60. So that definitely have a point there.
Yeah, so like that's the thing. So yeah, I'm looking at him. He about 23 million he makes Deebo every year. So you give another 28 to 30 to Aiyuk. Yeah, it's a lot of money. So that's just where I think, and the Niners are very good at, and you mentioned it, they have a lot of good weapons. They're usually a very good organization of finding what fits for them, for their weapons and wide receivers. So I think they could find, Aiyuk is very talented, but I think maybe they could go out and draft somebody, find somebody, that could, maybe replace him in a couple of years. So,
and they did do that. I think they did. We're planning on this because they did do that with Ricky Purcell.
Yeah. I could totally be that next. Yeah, that he could definitely play that Brandon Aiyuk role in the next couple of years. So I just think there's just so many contracts you're going to have to give out. It's just going to be tough to keep everybody. And I think he might be one of the guys that ends up going somewhere else.
We definitely could see that. And if he does go somewhere else, especially maybe this offseason, where do you think it's going to be? And I have two teams in mind for him. Number one, I'm going to say the Steelers. They lost Deontay Johnson to the Panthers, and I think they kind of need that number two. They're kind of in win now mode, going out and trading for Russell Wilson. I feel like they're in win now mode. To have another receiver alongside George Pickens, I think Pittsburgh would be a really good fit for him. And second, I'd say the Chargers, because the Chargers they really have a lot of unproven. They have a very unproven receiving core, probably one of the most unproven receiving cores in the league. Trading Keenan Allen away and then losing Mike Williams. So I think they have one of the most unproven receiving cores in the league, but they have a really good quarterback in Justin Herbert. So I think he would definitely fit there. So I say two of those two teams, the Steelers and the Chargers for me.
Yeah, the two I had was number one's my Patriots. They got 40 million left in cap space.
Oh, I know you. Yeah, that would be a nice head start for Drake May to get Brandon Aiyuk.
It would, if you want to actually help your rookie quarterback actually succeed in this league. It would be nice to get him an actual weapon.
Yeah, actually something that Bill didn't do for Mac Jones.
Yes, yeah, and then we know what happened in year two that absolutely destroyed his every ounce of confidence he had left.
We've talked about that enough.
Oh yeah, we have. We have. So the Patriots they got the most cap space left in the league. They have over $40 million they have not used left. So there you go. And you want your rookie quarterback to succeed, go get him another wide receiver. I like Bourne, but he's not a one. Douglas had a nice year, but they need a different. They need somebody like Brandon Aiyuk to be the number one on that team to have any success. In year one and help out Drake May. And then my second one was the Steelers as well. They got about 15 million left in cap space for this upcoming year, and to play on the other side of George Pickens, there are two deep threats. And Russell Wilson's a guy that likes to take his shots downfield, so I think that could complement their offense well. And they're playing a really good division that have a lot of really good offenses. Like Burrow has healthy, Lamar Jackson. We'll see what Deshaun Watson and that the Browns offense could be, but there's some talent there. So for the Steelers, I want to kind of keep up offensively. It'd be nice to get another guy like Brandon Aiyuk on the other side of George Pickens.
Exactly. So going from one receiver to another, T. Higgins, yes, the Bengals on Monday, him and the Bengals did not reach a long-term agreement on Monday. So for me with T. Higgins, I think he'll play this year with the Bengals, and then he'll be the best receiver on the open market. He'll be the number one receiver on the open market. I think there's a chance he gets 36, 37 million, seeing what Jamar Chase is going to get, because there's a good chance the next month the Bengals will extend Jamar Chase. He'll get 36 million. Higgins might even get more than that, because he's arguably a number one receiver. He's 6'4", really good. You saw that catch he had against the Vikings last year. He's arguably a number one receiver. So I think he plays this year with the Bengals, and then he's the number one receiver on the open market. I think he gets a huge. Imagine the offers he's going to get next year in free agency. Your Patriots are going to be they should be all in on Higgins next offseason. That's going to be the piece. All these teams that need a number one are going to be all in on T. Higgins next year. So I think he plays this year with the Bengals, and he's the number one target next year. And why I think this is a different situation than Aiyuk is, Higgins is going to want to be the highest paid receiver. For me, I think it's okay for Aiyuk. I think if he makes $29 million, he's fine. Higgins, he's going to be making close to $40 million, I think, a year, seeing what the contract Jamar Chase is going to get. So I think this will be his last year with the Bengals. It'll be the number one receiver on the market next offseason.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is going to be his last go around here in Cincinnati, and making 30. I could see him making upwards of 35 million, which is insane, but it shows you where the sport's going with the quarterback market and the wide receiver market and the running back market.
Yeah, I don't think the receiver should be making that much, because I don't think they're as important as the offensive line or the defensive line, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, it's the way it is, and it's insane with these what they're gonna make, especially the quarterbacks right now, and wide receivers you're starting to see really get up there and pay as well. So it's a lot of money, but I think he's definitely gonna be the most sought after wide receiver. It's probably gonna be one of the most sought after free agency next year. So I don't think the Bengals are gonna trade him, and I don't think they're gonna sign him long term, because they're definitely gonna go get Jamar Chase. That's kind of Burrow's buddy there too. Like they just have that kind of chemistry from their time at LSU as well, which I think plays may play a part of it as well. But yeah, I think this is it for T. Higgins, and yeah, he'll make some franchises happy. If the Patriots don't get Brandon Ayuk, I definitely want to be all in, but
You
I
got to
don't
be
see Robert Kraft
we'll be talking
spending that.
about T. Higgins though. But what were you gonna say about
Yeah.
Kraft?
I don't think Kraft's gonna go out and try to be the highest bidder, and I don't think he would be that guy. Unfortunately, I would want to see it, but I just don't think he's gonna. Don't think he's gonna try to be the highest bidder in that market. He'll tell you that he attempted it, but
Yeah.
he won't go all in.
Let me tell you, if the Patriots aren't the highest bidder for T. Higgins next offseason, I am going to destroy Elliott Wolf. I will destroy Elliott Wolf on this show.
I'll
This
be
is
there
why
with you.
this is why you fired Bill Belichick. This is the exact
Yeah.
reason why you fired Bill Belichick. He could not develop or draft offensive skill guys. This is a perfect. This is probably going to be a perfect opportunity for Drake. We're talking about this a lot with the Patriots, but if the Patriots don't give Higgins what he wants, I'm going to destroy Elliott Wolf.
Yeah, I would too. Because Robert Kraft said right at the offseason that we're all in. Like we're gonna spend this offseason. They spent to re-sign their guys that again, couple of nice pieces I'm fine with, but we're one of the worst teams in the league last year. So bringing back those guys, that doesn't really make the team a whole lot better. T. Higgins would, but hey, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
see.
I'll be right there with you, destroying Wolf. They don't go after him.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens with T. Higgins. But we got to get to a part of the show that you're very excited about. And we are going to discuss SEC Media Days. They've had this week, it's SEC Media Days in Dallas. We got 2 new members of the conference, Texas and Oklahoma. We'll get to them. But we got to start with Alabama. And for the first time since 2006, they'll have a new coach in Kalen DeBoer. As Nick Saban retired, DeBoer takes over. And the big question for Alabama going into this season is how much of a loss will Saban be for Bama? I think it's a loss. He's a great coach. And unlike Belichick, he went out on top of his game, I felt like. I think he left being one of the top coaches in college football. So I think it'll be a loss. But they did hire Kalen DeBoer. And they do have Jalen Milroy coming back, who led them to the playoff last year. And we're one drive. If they stop J.J. McCarthy on that last drive, they get to the national title and probably beat Kalen DeBoer's Washington team in the national championship game. So I do think they are in good shape going to the season. And let's just say for the SEC, I know they play Georgia, but they get them at home. It's a very favorable schedule. Their tough games are Georgia at home, Missouri at home, at Tennessee, and at LSU. And LSU lost Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors. So I think this is a favorable schedule for Bama. For an SEC schedule, it's favorable. They don't play Texas, so it's or Ole Miss, so it's a favorable schedule. So I do still think Saban will be a loss, but I do think they're a playoff team this year.
Yeah, I agree that Saban's definitely a loss, but I think you would agree with me. The last couple of years, I do think Saban lost a little bit of his fastball on the sidelines. He's still one of the best coaches in the league.
I feel like not as much as Belichick. I think lost his fastball more than Saban, though.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. But I think, Saban lost a little bit. I didn't think he was as great as he once was, years ago. And Kellen DeBoer's a guy that's 104-12 as a college head coach. This is a guy that's a winner. My worry for him is, though, what happens if they have a 10-2 or 9-3? He doesn't win a national championship in the next 3 to 4 years. How is that fan base going to react? Because it's hard to replace a legend, especially like Nick Saban. So I really think they hit it out of the park with Kellen DeBoer. But that fan base, too, also wanted Dan Lanning, the Oregon coach. So, I worry if he has an 8-4 1 year. Are they going to run him out of town? But that's the one thing. But again, but recruiting-wise, for next year, 2025, according to 24/7 Sports, he's got the second-rated recruiting class. So the recruiting hasn't dipped. I think Jalen Milroe, because of his deep ball abilities and his accuracy, he fits perfectly what Kellen DeBoer wants to do offensively. So, the schedule is pretty favorable for him, and I do think they do win. Or they, I don't think they win the SC, but I think, they're definitely I think they could definitely be one of the at-larges. And Tyler Booker, their big offensive lineman, actually said this. I saw this quote this morning. I guess because Saban took Georgia and Texas to get to the SEC championship game. Booker was kind of, he felt disrespected. He's like, you can't listen to guys that, guys that are sitting at home talking in your basement. You can't listen to what those guys think of you. So he took a shot there at saving, not picking them to go to the
that is a little bit
SEC
of a
championship game.
That is a little bit of a shot there too. And now speaking of Texas and Texas and Oklahoma, their first year in the SEC, the big question is for those two teams, how big of an adjustment is it going to be for Texas and OU joining the SEC? And I think it's going to be an adjustment, but I think it's going to be a bigger adjustment for OU. Because if you look at Texas, their schedule is pretty favorable. Outside, they know they play Michigan. They go to Michigan early in the year. But if you look at the schedule, they don't play Alabama. They don't play Alabama or Ole Miss or LSU or Missouri. I mean, really, their tough games are Georgia at home, and they play Oklahoma, obviously, in the Red River Shootout. So this is a very favorable schedule. And the quarterback who led them to the college football playoff, he's back too. So I don't think Texas is going to have as hard of a time adjusting to the SEC. I think the team that's going to have a hard time adjusting is Oklahoma. They lose Dylan Gabriel. I don't think they have as good of a coach. I don't think Brent Venables is as good as Steve Sarkisian. You look at the schedule. They got to play Tennessee. They got to go to Ole Miss. They got Texas. They got to play Alabama. They got at LSU. They got at Missouri. They could very. I don't think they're making the playoff. I think it's going to be a tougher adjustment for Oklahoma. I don't think they're making the playoff. I could see at least 3 or 4 losses.
Yeah, for Texas, I think they're going to come in a lot, more prepared. And I mentioned this last year. I, wasn't a big start guy really up until last year, but I think in the trenches, Texas is really, like you saw last year, they're really, Sark's doing a really good job of building that offense, and defensive line didn't take a little bit of a step back this year. They're probably more middle of the pack in the SEC. But I think off of the line this year, they're going to be right there with Georgia as the 2 best in the SEC this year. So I think in that sense, they're going to be, they're going to be fine. They got Quinn Ewers. And then, you mentioned it. Like, they only have 3 SEC road games because that, game in Dallas against Oklahoma, they're technically the road team. So, and one of their road games at Vanderbilt, Arkansas in late November.
Yeah, and Arkansas is not that good either.
No, like Sam Pittman may be fired by then. Yeah, the intern might be Bobby Petrino by then. And then at A&M, which would be tough. But yeah, but like Texas, I think it's going to be a lot more built, and I think they'll be a lot more ready to go. And then for OU, yeah, and and I think for Brent Venables, he had a lot of guys that were either played for Lincoln or recruited by Lincoln that transferred out this offseason, and most of those guys went G5. So I don't think Oklahoma had the talent as I think we all thought going in the last couple of years. And yeah, Oklahoma's definitely going to need a little bit more time to kind of get it going. I think Venables really needs to get, I think they got some talent this year, but I think they got one of the hardest slates in the SEC this year, because they only have 3 home games, technically 2 in the conference. And, and yeah, going to Auburn, that won't be difficult. And then, yeah, Ole Miss, Missouri, and LSU are 3 top 15, top 12 teams in the country. Like, that's not easy. So I think Oklahoma is going to be more in the middle of the pack in the SEC, while Texas, they should be right there with Georgia in the top, and they should be playing they should be playing Atlanta for the second time this year in the SEC championship game.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they are, especially with Quinn Ewers returning. But now, speaking of Georgia, should Georgia be on Monday in the college football and the SEC poll? They were the unanimous favorite to win the league. Should they be the unanimous favorite to win the league? And I would say no. I look at Georgia's schedule. They got to go to Bama. They got to go to Texas. And they got to go to LSU. I mean, Ole Miss. Those are 3 of the top 4 teams in the conference. There's no way. There's no way they should be the unanimous favorite. You talked about Texas with Quinn Ewers coming back. Alabama is still a really good program. Ole Miss has their quarterback. I know Junkins went to Ohio State, but they got their quarterback, their leading receiver coming back. I know you're not a Lane Kiffin guy, but they're in the mix. There's no way to me, and I know Georgia's won 2 of the last 3 national championships, and we're undefeated until the SEC title game last year. But to me, for how competitive the SEC is, there's no way they should be the unanimous favorite. This isn't the Big 12 or the ACC. This is the best conference in college football. There's no way they should be the unanimous favorite, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. I do, because I think now you add Texas and Oklahoma. I think we're going to see the same thing in the Big 10. You're adding 2 top. I know Oklahoma's not there yet, but like Oklahoma generally is a top 10, top 15 program. You're adding one more great game on that slate. So it's going to be a lot harder, I think, for a lot of these teams to go run the tables. And yeah, you mentioned it. Georgia does not have many easy road tests. Yeah, Bama's going to be tough. Texas, on the road, Texas, they're like a 2-point favorite according to DraftKings this morning. It's 2 or 2.5. Like, that's pretty much a toss-up game. At Ole Miss, we'll see what Ole Miss has up in the trenches. I don't know if they'll be good. I don't know if they could, play with them in the trenches. But yeah, it's not going to be easy. I think Texas, because Texas' schedule, we talked about it. It's not that difficult either in the SEC. So like, I could see Texas running the table and winning the SEC and being able to wear that burnt orange in Atlanta in December this year. So yeah, I think Georgia, Carson Beck, they threw the ball like 48 times in the spring game. I know it doesn't mean usually you play your backups. He didn't. Like, Kirby and Beck looked really good. So again, Georgia, it's going to be Georgia, Ohio State. I probably put Oregon in that mix. It's the top 3 teams in the country that will probably win the title. But but yeah, I don't think they should have been unanimous. I thought Texas should have gotten a vote or two, but little disrespect coming to the Big 12, because even Saban said it. Like, Texas probably going to struggle entering the SEC, and I get it, but I don't entirely see that happening unless there's a major injuries, because I really think Texas has really been building the last couple of years to be ready for this point.
Exactly. And Saban, before he says all that stuff, look at the schedule and look at the fact the quarterback is back. And they got one of the guys now, Isaiah Bond, who saved your season last year. You're not in the college football playoff without him.
Yeah. Isaiah Bond, he made that huge catch last year into Auburn. So yeah, he's going to be their number 1 wide receiver this year. So yeah, they got talent, and CJ Baxter, I think is going to be a really good back for him. Jaden Blue is another nice back. So like, I think they got a really good backfield, and I know Quinn's had the injury history. And look, I thought Arch Manning from this year to last year in the spring game made some huge improvements. Like, I know there's a lot of hype around him, but I thought he looked a lot better this year in his spring game than he did his freshman year. So, there's a ton of hype around him as well. So if you were to miss a game or two, Arch Manning, we'll see it, but they might have one of the best backups in the country as well.
Absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the SEC this year. Should be really exciting. We got Big Ten Media Days next week. We'll be talking about those as well. But we're going to wrap up the show talking about Jalen Brunson and his new deal with the Knicks, and what a bargain. $39 million a year. Get a guy like Tatum who's making look at Tatum's deal versus this deal. What a bargain for the Knicks. I think this is going to open their championship window to the next 3 or 4 years. Jalen Brunson making a great decision, not taking all the money. He wants it, man. He wants to win a championship. He wants to bring home a title to New York. He's foregoing money to win a title because they'll eventually be able to play a Mikal Bridges. They'll eventually be able to pay a Julius Randle. The Knicks are looking really, really good, especially with Brunson's new deal. Yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna, you gotta be excited to be a Knicks fan. I think their win total is like 52.5 DraftKings has it, something like that. Like, they're gonna, there's a lot of expectations for the Knicks, and Jalen Brunson taking the hometown discount there is definitely huge, because gives you a little bit more cap space and to do a little bit more maneuvering, which helps. But yeah, the window's been open now for the Knicks, and it's awesome to see. They're definitely going to be a very fun team to watch, and the Nova guys and a lot of Villanova fans might just jump to the Knicks by then, by January, because it'll be a tough year for regular Villanova.
Oh God! Since Jay Wright, it's been tough for Villanova since Jay Wright has left. But these Nova Knicks has definitely have given us something for them to cheer about, and they will for the next 2 to 3 to 4 years, because they're going to have Brunson, Bridges, DiVincenzo, and Hart on the team. So it should be very, very exciting. Should be a very exciting time to be a Knicks fan for the next 4 to 5 years. But that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. For Justin D'Onofrio, I am Steve RIsser. We will be back next week talking about the Yankees' 3rd series of the season with the Red Sox, Big Ten Media Days, and any NFL news that comes our way. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Internet. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.